Well, I would be annoyed except the title is actually justified for what I just spent the last 20 minutes doing. I thought I would give myself 15 minutes to get some things in order, go get a drink, and at the last page it said go live or done. I clicked done, and I don't know how to go back to a stream because everything changes. Guys, this stuff annoys the crap out of me. Why don't I live stream often? Because of that, and also I'd rather just make videos. It's more fun and I know what I'm doing. Seems like every time I come into live stream, they've changed stuff, and maybe I'm just getting too old to keep up. That's probably it. But I don't think being blind and using a text to screen reader is helping much either. I could definitely use some help. That's another thing too. But anywho, that's what's up. I actually had to just kind of make time this evening to do this. There's 100 other things I should be doing, but yeah, let's chat for a bit. Although I might be quiet in the first little minute here because I do need to go grab something to drink. My throat is quite dry. Walter, yeah, it worked. I mean, that time it was my end. I just clicked the wrong button, and I'm sure there's some other button you can click to resume or go back. I don't know what it is. There are hundreds of links and buttons on every page of YouTube now, and they like messing with this and moving them around and changing names. You know, if I still drank, I'd probably have fun doing that to people too. But I don't, so I don't find it funny. Cybone. Yeah, we'll try to live stream for a minute. I do have to do a couple of things in an hour, but we'll see. Okay, why are the first two comments listed like one, two, and then I get to Bradley's here and it's not? I thought they'd all be numbered now. Man, that'd be kind of actually helpful to keep kind of know what number you're on. Now we got Joshua. Okay, now Joshua says hash two. What do the numbers mean? Man, I'm getting old. But I'm embracing it. I like being old. I can't wait till I'm an old enough man to get crotchety. Well, more crotchety. JTL. Yeah, now see yours. Simon says number one. Wonder what that means. I don't know. You were able to kids up on videos. Risto, how do you know how I feel? I'm not arguing with you. I'm sure you do. I'm just curious what that comment pretends to. John Dent, fun comment there. Ah, catch up. I got get it. I got it. Oh, it says top fans. Okay, I get it. Thank you. Yeah, see, all my speech reach is like hash. Literally, it says the word hash and then the number. It doesn't say anything about top or fan. It must be an image, I guess. I don't know. Oh, purple. Great. I did not pick it. All I'm thinking about right now are brownies. I'm not saying you're a brownie. I'm just thinking about brownies. Better than furries, I guess. Joshua? Hey, I got you, Josh. Yeah. Yep, the screen is completely dark. That's how that works. I mean, you wouldn't see much anyway. I'm sitting out on the back porch in town now. I'm not at the cabin. I had to come in for a doctor's appointment. Plus, I got a little under the weather, if you couldn't hear in the last couple of videos. I kind of edited out my hacking, but yeah, I'm fine. But Had to be in town for the doctors and thought about going back this weekend, but I had a couple other things I wanted to knock out while here, so I'll probably head back about this time next week. Anyway, to my point was there's nothing to see here anyway. Remember, YouTube won't let us show anything firearms on the live streams anymore, so come on, let's be honest. A black screen is better than my face, and Peanut doesn't come outside. So, hey, Sierra, hi. Yes, Simon. Taticus, not brownies, brownies. Come on, the internet has not forgotten about brownies. Surely, I haven't. I'm still scarred by them. Hey, thanks, Joshua. It makes me doing this with my wife's here a little easier when I go, hey, I got money. Here, you can have it. Oh, brownies with vanilla ice cream. I had cherry turnovers earlier. Does that count? And Indian food. Sunny Cat. I love Smith and Wesson. Whenever I do videos on any revolvers, they get no views. Not just me. I wish revolvers would kind of get more popular because with ammo prices the way they are, it's a great way to make your ammo budget stretch further and still have a lot of fun at the range. I over on Patreon, I posted a video last week of Jay and we mostly shot revolvers all day, and we did shoot pistols all day, which is a heck of a lot cheaper than even like 223 rifles right now, and fun. Yep, Johnny, that's how these go around here. Thank you, Johnny. I'm actually trying a different headset too on Amazon, like Prime Day deals. They had a cheaper headset for like 60 bucks. And I thought I need a spare because I've been using this Bose one I've had for a year. But if one time the battery sometimes run down, and then what do I do? Plus, what if I break it? Or so I just thought it would be a good idea to have a cheap pair just to have. Let me know how it works. I did some test runs. That's one reason I was a little slow getting here. Just doing little recordings on the computer, and they sounded fine. It has a movable mic. The other one didn't, and right now it's pretty much there. It goes down here. I know when I put it up here. Yeah, I know when it's up there, it's too quiet, but around the mouth, it should be fine. John Dent. Yeah, John, I don't understand sarcasm at all. You know me, no sarcasm here. Also, a very sensitive snowflake. Yep, yep. That's how I roll. You guys wouldn't believe the things I say off YouTube. I censor myself well because I was a teacher and I know how to do that. But when I'm just hanging out with friends like Jay or J Ro or anything, I'm still me, but definitely more unplugged. I wish I could be more myself on here, but hell, no one wants to be canceled via YouTube or the gun community or both or whoever. Oh, you legitimately heard brownies. No, I said brownies. I need to go get a drink. I told you my throat is dry. Risto. Yeah, I got it. What's the one unicorn left? Oh yeah, you want, oh, yeah. I was thinking maybe you meant like the 545 RPK out of Romania that we've never had imported. That or like a Draco in 545. Either of those. Basically, another Romanian 545 gun because my Wasser or mine's an SAR2, but this goes for Wasser 2s as well. They're fan freaking tastic. as much trouble as I've had with the Snatch in recent years, and even the old SAR3s weren't as good as the ones and twos. The other ones are great and were really good values back when you got chrome line barrels and all that. Hey, Chris. Peanut is inside right now, although there's actually a outside kitten that's been coming to me, and we've been working on it. She is very skittish. She's definitely feral. She'll eat out of my hand and will let me pet her begrudgingly, but if I try to pick her up, let's just say feet go everywhere. Joshua? Joshua, we're asking about a Egyptian misser, I presume? Well, I mean, is it worth it? How much money are they asking? That's kind of the trick. I mean, the Mister SA, which is one of the final versions that came in, was still a good gun. It's very analogous to a Romanian SAR1. BAMs. You say Viper 12, but I think you mean Viper 12. Yeah, yeah. If actually the first batches that ever came in were with the fixed stock. The folders came later. The very first ones were hilarious because they just came with literally a rejected wood stock. Like, yeah, like one off the factory floor. And then later they put nicer wood, and they also did some with a polymer stock, and those had standard trunnions, so you could swap them out. And then later they actually did some Vepr 12s that looked like they had folding stocks, but there was no hinge mechanism at all, not welded, just not there. And those are just like they took a regular tube stock and welded it to the rear, and you're kind of committed. So if you're looking at Vepr 12s, and you want a folder, make sure it has the mechanism welded or unwelded, but they were those two. But yeah, no, there were multiple fixed stock variants, and they came out 6 months maybe before the folders, maybe a year. Yeah, it's a long time ago, hard to remember. Woo! Joshua, 1,600. It's up to you, mate. In this economy, check it out. See how the paint is, see if everything's straight. When I was looking at the Misters versus the SARs in the stores back in the day, Misters had more canted gas blocks and sights and weird mismatched furniture. If it's a really clean, straight one, maybe, but just check it out. They're good guns, but they're no better than even like a current day Wasser or Zastava. I mean, frankly. Um, I think me, myself, and I, keep in mind I'm from a position very different, not looking for one. To me and I, with the market the way it is right now, I'd try to get into one for 12 to 14. That's just my opinion. Julian, yeah, I need to look at the Hokusa thing. I doubt any of my old contacts because I used to actually know the one of the owners, at least on like the tech side of things, and I knew some of the old R&D guys. I'm sure it's all different people. I've just had a lot going on, and who knows until that actually happens. I've made my feelings on like the whole Daewoo situation very clear. I should do an update video. It kind of cracks me up when people comment in that original one I did back in the spring saying this video's aged like milks. Really? Do you have your new S&T Motive Daewoo yet? Do you? Do you? Shut the fuck up. You don't have it yet. So you're just still going on promises. I should do a new video. Mams. Yeah, I think I kind of gave that. Were you asking about the BAMs? Was that the Mister or the Vepr 12? Sorry. Yeah, liking would help. In fact, I've got a couple of upcoming videos pretty much saying that. Look, I can't do social media. I can't do Insta. I can't do, and frankly, don't want to do Facebook. X, Twitter might be kind of interesting. TikTok, no interest. I can't do it. It's all very visual. Sorry, I think I hit you. It's all very visual, and the time I learn how to do a website good, even if I could, people have probably moved on to some new social media platform. The hotness today won't be the hotness a year from now. Plus, frankly, I'm busy enough just doing this. But if people could just kind of share links and my name out there on their Facebooks, on their Instas, that couldn't do anything but help and might be at least a little bit of a workaround. Tony, Tony, I just put out 3 OG videos like this week. So, yeah, including that exact gun, the AUG A3 SA with the Vitor receiver. TLDR spoiler version. It's freaking awesome. I've had mine for over 12 years and no problems. And I have put, if not tens of thousands of rounds through it, definitely thousands of rounds. Of course, I swap barrels from time to time, so they're not all the same barrel, but still, it's freaking awesome. And it saves a lot of wear and tear on my pre-ban. Sunny Cat. Ooh, Model 10 new production, Model 19 new production. I'm gonna be honest. I think the 19's cool, but nah. If you're gonna go with a 357, I'd go with a 686. My new production or current production 686 has been great, and you don't have to ever worry. The 19, it's fine, but it's really more at home shooting mostly 38s, maybe 38 plus Bs. So considering how much more they tend to go for than the Model 10s, if you just want to shoot 38s, I'd probably just get a Model 10. So basically, yeah, what do you want to shoot? 38, Model 10, 357. I'd go ahead and get an L frame of some stripe. I've always felt really comfortable with the L frames. Nothing wrong with the K frame, shooting the cartridge a little bit, but I come from an era when the 19s and the 66s weren't recommended a steady diet of that Magnum round. Sierra. Yeah, yeah. Canceling. Chris. Well, you do if you agree with me, but sometimes I probably hold opinions and maybe say things that I don't know. And I, as my nature, tend to be a very diplomatic person. It's hard to explain. Like I'm not. I like speaking my mind, but I also don't get any satisfaction out of pissing people off or hurting their feelings. Like as long as we're all laughing together, I'm happy. But I don't really, like doing stuff to outrage people. It's just not. It's not how I roll. Sunny cat. Bams. Yeah, I agree with Robbers Rock. I've got 3 or 4 more recorded, and I will put them out, but they will not get very many views. Sometimes I just do stuff just for me because I enjoy it. Johnny, which gun manufacturer do I think has the most? Oof, that's probably more than I could just spurt out off the top of my head because interesting can go a hell of a lot of different ways. And I don't know if you mean that are still in production today. I don't know. Yeah, there's I find history interesting. I'm trying to think of a just quick, easy answer, and that it's really hard to do. I do like the FB Radom story. It's quite interesting how they got started out of the ashes of World War One. The CZ story is pretty interesting too. Very similar genesis there. I guess though, if you had to say that the all time Beretta, or sorry Beretta, come on, 500 years, still family owned, still making great guns. Definitely more than their fair share of innovations over the years. Yeah, so just by time of duration there, how many other gun makers can trace their roots to literally to the Middle Ages, the early Renaissance to today, and are still valid today? Sierra. Yeah, a Century doesn't give a rip about history, which is really funny because that was their bread and butter. Milsurp and historical guns for all those years. But I think the minute a rapper put a Draco in a video, that's the direction Century went with. Bling bling, motherfucker. Simon. Oh, okay. You're attracted. Bams. Um. Well, not only visible to me, Bams, but my speech reads them. Joshua. Retracted. Yeah, Simone, there's the RPK. They did it. We used to call it the PA86 or PM86 LMG, but I think the more common name I see today is the PM93 LMG. It's a little vague on some of the newer nomenclature because sometimes Kuger names something something, and then sometimes the Romanian army does. But yeah, no, they adopted them a short time after the rifle. We had those kits in 7.6239 with 1989 dates. Those are some of the last military dated RPKs in that caliber. So I think they switched over in the 1990s. It's pretty cool. It looks very similar to the late 7.62s. The fixed stalkers have like a flip up butt plate. They sometimes have like a Bakelite upper handguard. They have a birdcage flash hider. They're pretty cool. Bam's talking about the no ambi safety VEPA 12s. Hey, Tusk, and thank you. How do I keep inventory? Do you mean like in my head, like remembering what I have, or do you mean like physically, what do I keep them? Also, collabs, man, it's been really hard to do. This week, especially, I was joking with my little brother that I think everyone in the world's mad at me. Not really, but like every email I sent out to people this week took days for them to get back with me on. I mean, we're talking everyone. Everyone is just super, super busy now. And some of them I understand more than others, but it's just hard to get people's schedules to line up and do it now. Not like the old days. I think maybe COVID was kind of the golden era for the collab because people could. Bams. No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't. I don't think being first on a lot of things, value's weird. It really, really is. Like, for example, the Clayco was the first Chinese AK. People still value Polytex more, even though they came out 3, 4 years later. Chris. I mean, actually, Chris, I did quite a few videos on the pocket pistols. If you search the channel, I did 5 or 6 videos. I didn't cover them all, and I can always go back. But a lot of those pocket pistols were just copies of each other, or even like duplicates. Like there were 3 or 4 just identical Colts in that collection. But I tried to cover the really interesting ones, like the Simpson. That was one of my favorites. I covered, of course, the Walther that was there because it's me, and yeah. Um, I still have a few more. I think there's a little Beretta, a little CZ I could still do, but I tried to hit at least the most half dozen interesting ones. Taticus, are all those guns the same money, or are they different money? Tusk, sure, Bams. John Dent. Uh, can you get an AK? New for under 1,000? Because even like the Zastavas are at least right at 1,000 and over it after taxes. Man, new, I don't know that you can find an AK under 1,000 these days. Not one that I would, recommend. I tend to be a buy once, cry once type person. Now that's not a justification to spend 2 or 3 grand, but here's the trick: if you bump that number up to say 1,200, 200 more, you get a lot more AK for your buck. Joshua, okay, and retract. Never mind, retract it again. Okay, Sunny Cats, you're legally blind now, and everything's fuzzy. Yeah, but all I can say is sucks, don't it? But there's still plenty of life to be lived. Dusk. Appreciate it, Taz. I will be doing more live streams. Which is what's happened this year. I have so much time. Part of it has to go to just work. But then when I'm sitting out in the evening, I'm thinking I could do a live stream where I could work on this video idea. And I've been doing that because that's why I got on YouTube and what I really, really do like doing. But hunting season is coming in just a couple of weeks. So while I've kind of stocked up shooting footage of various things to use throughout the next month or so, I won't be able to shoot. Well, I can, but I try to keep in good stead with all the hunters out there. So I won't be doing any fresh shooting, and that means once I kind of catch up on working with the clips I've got, I'll probably have time in the evenings, especially that it's getting dark earlier, to do more live streams. So that might be kind of the cycle we fall into, is doing this more in the winter. Well, technically, someone I don't read it. My computer does. By the way, my computer is named Peanut. My desktop is named Hobo. Mason, TX22. I have no idea. Alexander. Hello. CRRS. Do I think we're at the end of the decently affordable Mac 90? No. I think markets come up and down. The Mac 90 hasn't been imported for over 30 years. They'll go up, they'll go down. One thing that's interested me recently, look at the Colt Python market. It has crashed, just crashed. So I think there'll be other waves where Mac 90s go down, then they go up, and there's so many of them in the country. But yeah, there'll still be deals to be found, at least relative to other costs at the time. Yeah, I don't like that has the straight bolt handle. Personal taste. One thing I like the turn down more, but if a gun's meant to have a turn down, I like it to have a turn down. Steve K. Oi. Sunny Cat. 92X. Matt something that my speech is saying weird. I love you too, platonically. Who are you again? No, I love anyone who tunes in. But the title was a bit of a fun thing. I thought at least get people to come in. And if anyone wants to toss in a couple of bucks, it never hurts. I've got to pay for someone to head me back out to the cabin here in about a week. And, people's time is valuable. So it usually costs me about $100 one way or the other to get down there. That's why when I'm down there, I stay so long. Wes Wad. Interesting. I jokingly mentioned the day was just a minute ago, Wes. I should do an update video translation. It gives me an excuse to take my K2 and K1A1 out and shoot. Maybe we will, but as I said in the first video, don't believe it until they're not just out, but flowing. Because how many? I mean, look at the Lithgow Atrax. I mean, I don't know. Too many times we get teased, and just because I am skeptical, it's just because I've been hurt so often. You know what I mean? I've been around long enough, and so many things promised, and either they never come out, or they come out and they're not near as good as people wanted. I mean, look at the whole IWI caramel. People really wanted that, and then it came out, and then they're like, eh. And that's what's going to happen. I promise you. As soon as the new Daewoo's come out, if they ever do, there are at least going to be some people that go, it's not as good as the original. There'll be things. So just moderate your expectations and you'll be a lot happier, because some of the guns that I find myself just tickled pink with are ones that I went into with either low or just no expectations. But man, import stuff is tricky. And even though they're making them in the USA, no, they're not. They're bringing over most of the components from South Korea. They're assembling them here in the USA to get around import regs. That's what they're doing. Of course, they're making a few parts here because 922R and like the receiver has to be anyway. So that's not a big deal. But, you know, who knows? But they won't be near as cheap as those videos said. I bet you anything street price on a Daewoo is over 15, maybe 18. I bet you. Bams. Well, the good news is I am not driving, so the whole world rejoices at that. Bams. Yep, I'm just sitting outside. It's weird weather for early October. It's actually kind of warm during the days, but the evenings are cooling off nice. Plus, there's that new kitten out here that I've been feeding. Thought maybe if I just sit down, she got kind of used to my voice. Antigonus. Yep, I rewatched some of BSG a couple of years ago. Yeah, what a great show. I mean, I think what I really liked about it, it balanced dark with light. Like it had humor, it had lovable, flawed characters. So many shows just don't get the balance right. Like I loved Breaking Bad, but that was too much on the dark side. Just a little bit. I still enjoyed it. Actors are great, but on the other hand, so many shows like some of the new Star Treks are just a little too flippant, and that doesn't mean I don't enjoy some things, but that BSG just hit it right. Plus, come on, Edward James almost. I mean, what a great leading actor to have. Thank you, Alexander. That's why I said it, Alexander. I told you, off script, I'm a little different. You should have heard some of my comments on the whole Cracker Barrel fiasco a month ago. I said things that really would get me canceled. Johnny, Mill versus Stamped in a nutshell. Stamped is absolutely just as capable on a technical level, but milled feel so much nicer. Like the bolt throw, the trigger pull. Oh, mill guns feel really good, but you got the weight and you don't have the flexibility. You can't accessorize. So if you're thinking about any kind of practical terms, stamped, and as I say in so many videos, how often do you hear of even a 1 millimeter stamped receiver, not to mention a 1.5, failing? That's just not a failure point. You don't, sorry, I think I hit you again. You don't really lose anything going over to stamped, but the thing about a milled AK, you can really tell that it came out of the same types of factories as an SKS. Freaking love them. But yeah, stamps are a lot more practical and economical, and also easier to repair too. Rebarreling a milled AK is a bitch. Thomas Howard, what happened to that South African R4 build I had? I sold it. It was never a keeper because it was a U.S. receiver, I believe, and it might have even had a U.S. barrel. I had taken it in on trade for something. It had something to do with some other a Galeos. You know that that reweld I've got of an ARM. I think it came from the same guy. I have to go back and look at my records. But I originally had grabbed it to make other deals happen, and it was cool. But I've got the LM5, so it's pretty obvious which one was the keeper. Matt, okay, you're asking a technical question about the SLR 105. I mean, there's pretty good evidence it was a scrub Tula Trunnion or maybe a virgin one. Because if you look at how Russia sent parts to Bulgaria, they sent a lot of parts that weren't even scrubbed. They were just virgin parts. And so I think they used that up. As far as evidence, no, but that's because Bulgaria they copied Russia so closely. On the other hand, look how briefly they made the AK-74. Do you really think they tooled up and made everything in house just for those few years? Nah. I bet even most of their military guns were like that. I mean, when a lot of the Bulgarian AK-74 kits came in, we found a lot of Russian parts on them, either directly from Russia, like they got them from there, or yeah, they scrubbed them or did whatever. I had to really sit and think about it. I don't think there's any direct evidence, but it's one of those logical inferences that is pretty easy to make, especially considering they just made a few hundred of the SLR 105s. They weren't going to tool up to make new parts for 545 for that, just for that small of a run, that's for sure. Joshua, I appreciate that you appreciate the AK videos, but I'm going to be completely frank with you. I wish people appreciated the other videos too, because I do AK videos, but man, there's just not much new to be said. I'm not buying any new AKs, they're too expensive. And I've kind of said about all I can say on my existing AKs, so I try to branch out and do other things, but there's no, yeah, I'm afraid if I do more AK videos, I'll just repeat myself even more than I already do. Julian, yeah, there are deals out there. Yeah, 700 bones for an M44. Look, in pretty recent years, I put M44s up on Gunbroker that didn't bring more than 500. And Mausers, I think you can find better deals. I'll be honest. Yes, it is my puff. M.R. Johnson. Yep. That joke gets made every live stream, so no worries. Exactly. That's kind of where I'm at, Simone. Too. I'm still at my AKs, but I'm kind of halfway over them. I've moved on to other things. Of course, I started off with the FAL because it was pre 2004 and had a couple of AKs, but you kind of just you move on to things, and that doesn't mean you stop loving what you've already done, but there's only so deep you can dig into a lot of things before you just kind of start getting a dry well. John Dent, heading out, man. What you have a good evening to? Sunny Cats. Yeah, I mean the M9A1's pretty cool. I like mine. Battle Bean. What do you want, man? I mean, the cheapest option for a 7.5 would be a mini Draco. But if you want an actual crank, I mean, personally, I'd get a Zastava M92 myself. But your mileage may vary. Welder, best 5.56 AK for 1,200. Zastava M90. That's pretty easy for me to say. MG, whatever happened to the Pendad, exactly what I'm afraid is going to happen to the Daewoo's. They just, for one thing, they were not near as far along as they seemed to indicate at SHOT Show. Like they didn't have their stuff together. I think sometimes people just put stuff out there at SHOT Show to gauge interest, and then they worry about can we actually make it happen. It is literally a cock tease. or a pin tease, I guess. Sierra. Yeah, Sierra, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done that myself, partially because the market's kind of down right now. But I did look at my AKs just a few nights ago and thought, are there any here that I'd want to sell? Or like even like one full nation. I don't have a whole lot of AKs from one single nation, typically 2 to 4 from each nation. But I thought, could I sell this? Could I sell that? I'm not there yet, but I definitely, if you ask me what's more likely, getting new AKs or selling some of your existing ones, I'm gonna say selling. Oh, K-pop fans. That Zeppelin airship. That just that that has to be a Jefferson Airplane slash Led Zeppelin fusion band. Meat sauce. Just reading your thing. Um, I mean, what's my favorite RPK? I mean, the AS10B is really good for what it is. Of course, there's always the Vepr, the Molat, the FM RPK 74. Those are really cool for being Russian. That's really it for imports. Of course, now there's the Stava M72. But if I had to just keep one, only one, that'd be tough. That'd be really tough. It would either be the AS10B or the Vepr. The Vepr for being Russian's cool, but being in 545, you're just kind of like, well, cartridges. The Romanian gun 76239, cool, and cartridges are out there. Simon, or whatever. Sorry, yeah, Twiggy. Yeah, you know what I mean. Mel Blanc, awesome. Yeah, I remember that show because of Aaron Gray, but that's a story for a different story. Battle Bean. Nothing wrong with the shorty, and mini Dracos are pretty affordable. So if it sucks, just sell it. Joshua. Yeah, I just put out that 653 video. I'd actually been planning on it all summer, but I had time getting that lower back from being finished because it was an 80% originally. I thought about somehow doing something new on the SP1, and I've been thinking about when money allows, picking up a couple of the HRA replicas and then comparing them. So yeah, if I'm going to do ARs, that's probably more my bent. I think the newest AR I own is that Midwest Gal 5 ASDW. I still have that. Picked that up with Jay right when COVID was COVIDing its most, and kind of a cool gun. But the newer stuff just doesn't trip my trigger a whole lot. Kennecke. Yep, ATOC. Helmet. Scott 79. Pretty good deal on the Chinese mag. Matt. Bishop. Um, I know they're trying, Matt. It's difficult. I would love, even if not a full size, a G3K with a 12 or 13-inch barrel. That had to be even 100% exact. I would absolutely hang on to one of those. Kenneck. Lol. Lol. Yeah, I mean, I try to give new spins on things, but I mean, at least when I repeat myself with videos, I try to give it a little time and I try to inject new information. Unfortunately, as you add information in, the videos just get longer and longer. But what do? It's at least new content. I'm not gonna just literally repeat myself. That's not what I'm here for. That feels like standing still or even going backwards. Cody, I really don't have firsthand experience with those exact guns, but I'm sure they're perfectly fine. So I wouldn't worry about them. Tim Johnson? Do I know what an Arsenal SLR 101S? I mean, I know what they are, very much so. What about them? Hmm. Sorry, it's either being slow or there's a lot of pictures. Uh, I don't know if you can hear me. The computer's doing its thing. I gotta figure this out. I think the computer crashed. I see what's going on, guys. I think if you can hear me. Hey, Vay. It's always something with these computers, isn't it? Yeah, I know that computer. Would you shut up? It's telling me my battery's running low on the computer, but it's goofing up my speech. Hey, hey, hey. Give me a minute if you're still there. I don't know if I'm gonna pull this out. I don't know. It's froze up my speech. All right, guys, if you're hearing me, let me try something. And if this doesn't work, I apologize, but the battery thing is goofing me up big time. Where is it plug-in? I think where I can plug this in and you can still trying to think where I can plug this in and you guys can still hear me. Just hang tight, see if this fixes it. If not, well, I might just end it. Great. Okay, let's see. Find a plug-in. See if this fixes the issue. Do baby do. All right, computer, let's get you some juice. See if this is what makes you happy. Mhm. All right, you got juice. Now will you not be a dick to me, computer? We'll find out. A drink of water too, and then we'll see if it fixed it. If not, oh well. do do. Oh, hopefully, with that battery thing going away, it'll let my speech work normally again. Huh. I'm gonna restart my speech too. Yes, I'm sure I want to quit the screen reader. That's what I did. It's what. Hang on a sec. Like I said, I'm rebooting that to see if that makes it work better. Welcome to my life. It's I'll put it like this: it's less annoying than reading Braille. This is my whole music. This is how long my speech takes to get going. There it is. Now it's back. Okay, so it kind of, okay, so I'm probably gonna skip some of your comments because it, it reset everything. So if I, if I miss you, apologize. But I'm still here, so at least it didn't crash. Dave, yeah, I'm on the comment talking about the Arasaka video. I love Arasakas, I really do. Kanika coach. Oh, I mean, I sell things all the time. I'd actually just put up a couple of long-term sticker backers on Gunbroker tonight. I mean, I have to, guys. That's my career, but it's also, you got to move stuff on. Sometimes you need to sell old stuff to make room for new stuff, and sometimes you just have bills that got to get paid. I mean, it's not like I have an offers corporate job that my income comes from. Guns are my income, and YouTube, but YouTube is just not generating enough that I can live on it. MG? Oh yeah, a year ago I put up saying this is the golden age of roller lock guns or roller delayed blowback if you prefer. It is. It still is. We have more. That AP5 SD that came out this year is really neat. I didn't have to change out the rows on any of mine. Alexander, thank you, Alexander. How many mags per gun? I mean, if they're really expensive mags, I at least have 3. But I'm happier with 4 to 6 per gun. I mean, I know some guys like doing 10. I mean, you can if they're not expensive mags. I mean, like I'm sure for my ARs, I have at least 10 mags. But actively trying, I usually have 2 pouches if I can, at least 1 pouch. But yeah, some guns the mags are just too expensive to have more than 3. Scott, eh, Yugoslavia. It's been brought up. I really don't have any thoughts on the accuser website thing. I haven't really called people and dug into it yet. Kind of just giving it time to do its thing and see what happens. Can I connect? Yeah. Most militaries they issue 3 to 5 mags per gun. Scott, anything worried about issue 421, 28? Not really. I mean, the usuals, but they were perfectly fine guns. They were purpose built to fire 7.62 NATO, so they're strong enough to take it. Battle beam? Nope, I haven't tried the Strabog 45A3. I've had the 9A3, but yeah, just haven't. Sierra? Yeah, look, I like PTR, but I've heard things too. I think some of it is HK guys just being HK guys and overly picky, but other stuff is legitimately concerning. I don't know. It's the same thing as a lot of other stuff. I think, they were really good when they were doing G3s because they got G3 production and tooling and knew it. But as they spread out to more and more things that they don't have direct access to, it's getting kind of different. Johnny, I think you might put an extra zero in that. Seriously, I'm reading your comment. The STG 45 and the foul, and just the tilting bridge wreck. Okay, I'm with you. Um, I'm a little confused. I mean, the FAL, the breach is real similar. The bolt to an SKS, uh, very very similar. So that's an intermediate cartridge gun. Benjamin, I thank you again. No, I haven't really experimented with FRT. That's not my thing. I know people it is, and I've fired them before. YouTube's always been really about them, and certain states have been, and they are and they aren't legal. And again, I'm more in the history. If someone's got one at the range, I will happily put a mag through it. It's just not something that I personally have a desire to own. It doesn't really fit what I do, if that makes sense. Yeah, Benjamin, I'm sorry if I'm catching up, but yeah, I had Johnny. Yeah, it was laggy because it popped up saying I had a low battery. That's not a big deal, but then that like did weird things to my speech. I don't know. It's never really happened before, but I'm not shocked. Rob, can I do a review on a Caracal 816? Maybe. If someone offered me one, it's not one that I'm excited enough about to just go out and buy with Patreon money or whatever because it's not really one I want to own myself. Again, there's so many things out there. I just don't. There's so many piston guns now that I'm sure it's good, but is it any gooder than how many others? Mm. Hi, Dave. uh, Funny story about Windows 10 and 11. Of course, my computer here just it came with 11, but my old laptop that I gave to my mother, it just decided to update itself to Windows 11 one night. Like I went to bed, Windows 10, woke up, Windows 11. I am Fox. You might have heard my wife comment something when I went inside to plug in the computer. Yeah, I know what you're saying about the 21 versus the 30. OLG 7, 8. I had to actually read that because my speech was saying it weird, but you donated money. So, yeah, there you go. That's what you have to say. Oh, I like the comment you said Arsenal. No, I'm teasing. Despite all the stuff, I did that recent video on Arsenal. I still like them. I still think they're good guns. Their PR department, everything gets way ahead of themselves. They're way too cagey. The Sam 5 thing, they didn't handle it 100% right. But all in all, I mean, come on. They've been giving us AKs for 30 years, and they're pretty good. People are just kind of eh. Joshua? I mean, yeah, Arsenals are overpriced, but what isn't? Simone? Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was reading Simone's comment, and it was a little weird on me there. I appreciate that, Simone. I mean, I try, and I won't lie. There are days when I do get discouraged because videos don't get a lot of views, and I put a lot of time into it. I do what I can do. I know there's things that need to be done. Again, with social media, I can't do them. I know I need better thumbnails. I cannot do them. I do what I can do to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do. And it would be nice to get a little more out of it. I don't want to become big or rich, but it would be a little nice because there are days that I really question why I do it. Now, you guys help a lot, you do, but when I see these dumbass channels that got nothing to say and know nothing, getting tens of thousands of views, yeah, I'm only human. Uh, my speech says your name is Dant. I'm assuming it's Dante, but it says it is Dant, so we're gonna go with Dant because it's funny. Thank you. Um, I'm I try to be, and I'm not always right, but I will say whenever I do videos, I do, and I love the research part of it. Like I'll be saying, oh, I'm gonna do a video at 3 this afternoon. I won't even start till 5 because I get kind of hooked into a research thing, going down rabbit holes. I love data and putting new stuff in. Zeppelin airship again. You have to ask J-Ro. He's the one who smoked, but also has tried to quit smoking. Look, I would like for you to quit smoking, not because I'm one of those people, but because I've had family members die from it. And the problem with smoking isn't smoking. The problem is you can never just like smoke one or two or even three cigarettes a day. Like everyone ends up a pack a day smoker eventually, and that's both cost and health prohibitive. So for your own good, I hope you find a way too. Of course, some people use gum, some people use patches. I know J Ro uses patches. It's hard to do, and I have a lot of um, empathy for it, and wish you the best of luck. I also don't think of you as a bad person for smoking because everyone's stressed, and it is a good way to relieve stress. But unfortunately, long term, it's just too expensive. Kind of like drinking, frankly. What kind of music do I like? Smashing Pumpkins. No, they are historically my favorite band, but that's more kind of nostalgia now. I don't get to listen to a lot of music like I used to. I try, especially out the cabin, more than when I'm in town. But I like a lot of 60s and 70s kind of rock. Really like Pink Floyd, but not probably the Pink Floyd you think of. Like I prefer "Wish You Were Here" over "Dark Side of the Moon." Still like "Dark Side of the Moon." I actually like the Division Bell better than the Wall. Still like the Wall, but I have some kind of weird takes like that. I definitely went through a teenage phase where I loved Nine Inch Nails. Still respect them. I'm happy Trent Reznor didn't OD and has actually found some happiness. Good on him because dude had some legitimate struggles and was legitimately talented. David Bowie, one of my all-time favorites. I literally cried when he died. Again, I'm happy he found some happiness at the end of his life. I would say one of my all-time heroes is probably someone you've never heard of, Gary Newman. Dude is just amazing. He's an innovator. He's quiet. Um, he pushed music forward. He never got into like drugs or women hardcore. He's happily married with kids. He involves his family in his music and he struggles with like autism and stuff and overcame it. And from my personal perspective, I find that very encouraging. Plus, he's one of the coolest dudes. Like when I bought some music from his website when it started off in the '90s, he sent me a letter thanking me for actually caring what his music was when he was at a low point. And then recently on my personal channel, I did a video on him, and whenever you do music videos, a lot of times they don't give you any ad revenue. Well, he had it set up where you split ad revenue with him or his music label. That's really cool that someone does that. That is very rare. Diamonds and wood. Thank you. I want to be honest. I'm glad I came on tonight because look, I'm not a person that needs a lot of encouragement. I'm not a person that needs their ego stroked. But the last little bit has been rough. So reading you guys say that it does help a lot. I can go a long way on just a one bit of kindness, one bit of encouragement. But seems like lately with everyone being so busy, I feel sometimes like I'm kind of forgotten. And I get it. Everyone's life is busy, and I'm not like anyone's number one priority. But when I can't do much on my own and really do need people to help me do even some of the basic stuff, not to mention go places, it puts me in a really big pickle of not wanting to bother people, understanding on some level they just don't have time. But on the other hand, I'm a human being and I can't just sit in a room for weeks on end without doing something. It probably explains why my videos get long. If I've got time, I'd rather put my energy into videos. It gives me something productive to do, and that's kind of what gets me up in the morning sometimes. Rob Tenring. Rob, I kind of quit drinking the same way. J Ro went through AA, and to support him, I kind of quit, and then just life got busy, and before I know it, time just kind of went by, and I stopped. I'll still socially drink, but yeah, um, so you save more money than you think, don't you, Johnny? Yeah, I've been doing this longer than some people have been alive. Jay was the one who actually taught me on to getting onto YouTube. It was not my idea. In fact, I was very camera shy back when we started in 2011. Ted Collins, hit Johnny. Yeah, yeah, the SKS. And there are a few others in transitional stuff. I think the problem with that bolt system, it's really good at taking recoil on heavy calibers, but if you think about it, most of those guns aren't super accurate. They're good, but the STG or the FAL just really aren't. Dante, I'll go with unique. I know I am unique at least. TOFU. Yep, streaming at least for a minute. When my computer lets me. If I disappear, the thing just crashed or something went through bar. But I did plug it in. That seems to at least fix the little glitch. Man, I wish I had some answers for you on high anxiety. I'm afraid we live in a high anxiety world. I don't have any answers. But I can sympathize. Gerald, hey, no, I may go by. Savage Institute, talking about a 99, 2003 Wasser, excuse me, SAR? No. Just whichever one looks nicer. I've heard some people say the earliest 99s were a little rougher, then they got better. I had one 2003 that had a really pretty, like, dark blued finish and laminate wood that had the really good grain. No, I don't think there's any meaningful difference in any of the production years. Thank you, Savage. Okay. So I got to the point where it says more chats below. So let me figure this out real quick, guys. Usually if I scroll down like this, it fixes it. Okay, I think that fixed it. I think. I gotta find my place again. This is why kind of doing live streams do stress me out because trying to read and listen. I wish I wish I could have my speech read directly to you. That'd probably actually be really good for you because you're not used to listening to a little mouse voice. Again, again, if I missed your comment, I'm gonna pick back up here. I try to catch back up because every so often I have to like switch pages and it resets me. So I'm gonna pick up with Joshua's comment, and it was retracted. That's good. MG, cool man. Yeah, on the music question. Tusk, asking about the Ruger factory. No, I haven't, but I haven't really looked into it either. Ruger is not really my speech says Ruger, by the way. Ruger isn't really like my main thing. I like them; they're cool. Just not really kind of like my main thing. MG. Yeah, I definitely went through an industrial phase and still really like them, but I got really hardcore and I was dating a girl once, but this was about 2005, 2006, and she was American, but she'd spent some time in Europe, and she looked at my music collection. She was like, "Oh, this is a lot of stuff I heard over in Europe." There was a phase from about 95 through about 2005 when I was really big into importing European music, and kind of about the time the grunge phase was ending here, and we went to like the puddles of mud and Limp Bizkit stuff, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I was kind of looking around for new stuff and found some pretty neat European bands. CRRS. I try to do good stuff. I hope I try to do stuff that other people just don't do. You're welcome. I'm happy to share my time. I'm happy to share knowledge, frankly. Yugoslavia? Look, Yugoslavia, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I really am not. And I think, yeah, like, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, Rob Ski, Kleko. But then you see these like newcomers to the AK stuff, and here's the problem. I'm happy to have new people. I really am. But some of those people, I want to tell them, stop talking and listen more. Like, you're still learning, that's cool, and you can still make videos when you're learning. But sometimes people jump in and they think after 2 weeks they've got it nailed down. No, it's okay to be learning and still do videos, but know that you're still learning. Hell, I'm still learning, and I've been doing AKs for 30 years. But there's been a lot of just kind of new outgrowth, especially a few years ago. It's kind of died down now. Tusk, heading off, Tusk. I appreciate you too. Yeah, I got to head soon too myself. I wasn't planning on staying on all that long, but the computer had different ideas. Cody, Cody, I'm trying to kind of answer your question succinctly. I'm definitely interested in not just military war history. I'm interested in history. That was my first degree, was history. In fact, I think it's via history that I got into guns, if the truth be told. So, yeah, I would say history came really before my love of guns, at least on this level. Simone? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know why you'd build a BZ-58 when you can just get a checkpoint. They're really good. Joshua? I appreciate that, Joshua. And I'll be honest, yeah, I'm not. Most guns you see are not T&E. Some are loaners from friends. A lot of them I'll just buy in my store. I might not keep them, but I like being independent. I just, if a company loans me a gun and wants me to do a review on it, that like Southern hospitality part of me feels obligated to kind of be nice. It's not. It's just kind of a crappy thing if someone sends you something to review and then to publish a video that's negative. But if you just buy it, you're free, and that's just an emotional thing. It's not even a business thing. Although it's not very good business sense to do it either, frankly. Dante again or Dant? Thank you. Yeah, I like sci-fi. I always have. It's kind of my thing. I think I was one of the last generations when we still kind of had this view of an optimistic future. Sierra. Yeah, of those, at least I did listen to some Linkin Park, although it was kind of hard not to for a period of time there. Yugoslavia? Yeah, that's kind of what I mean, man. I mean, think how that feels when people who've been at this much shorter and do that, and it's so easy. Like they got eyeballs. I mean, I don't even make that mistake most of the time, and I can't see the guns. You can see my frustration. Dave. I don't think anyone